Hello, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of Reverend Hagen's horrific cinematic dissection. As always, I'm your host, Reverend Hagen, and as always, I'd like to welcome our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's Scream. Radio.com for all your horror and paranormal needs. Now, tonight, we're going to do something a little bit different. I did it earlier, but I'm going to do it again. This is not a horror movie. But I'm trying to think of movies that can help you through this quarantine time. And I know people get pissed when I say quarantine instead of self-imposed social distancing, whatever you want to call it. Quarantine just rolls off my brain. So even though that's not technically the definition of quarantine, and I know that, so settle down, that's what it feels like. So I thought I'd review the movies that are out there right now that are easy to stream. That are decent movies that'll help you pass the time. So today we're going to look at 2020's Extraction on Netflix. This is a pretty decent movie. It's written by Joe Russo, of all people, and directed by Sam Hargrave, starring that crazy little Chris Hemsworth of Thor and the Avengers fame. Yeah, that Chris Hemsworth. It's also got, and I'm going to butcher these. These are Indian names. And good Lord, I'm dyslexic in butcher names to begin with, so bear with me here. We've got Gol Shefe Farahani, who starred in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and Rud Rakash Jaswal. And I mean no disrespect when I'm butchering these names. Believe me, it's not just Indian names. I butchered German names, English names, Norwegian. You see me I'm Norwegian. You should see me butcher Norwegian names. Anyway, Reverend Hagen, excuse me, could you get off the names? I will, thank you very much. Excuse me. Now, this movie is about a mercenary, played by Chris Hemsworth, who has got some kind of tragedy. It's kind of flashback a few times early in the movie, and he gets a case that his job is to rescue the son of a drug lord in India who's been kidnapped by the son of another drug lord in India. It's almost a suicide mission, and he takes it anyway. You really get the impression he's on the ragged edge. And he goes in, the team goes in, he's got his team, and kind of his handler is, and I'm not going to butcher her name again, I'm just going to call her, Gulch. So Gulch, the female, who's just drop dead gorgeous. I have a thing for Indian women, forgive me if that's sexist, but she's just incredibly beautiful. She's his handler and kind of doesn't want him to take the case, but he does anyway. So they go to India, and the action that takes place as soon as he goes to the rendezvous to get this kid, there's about 30 minutes of solid action, and they film it as a continuous shot. It doesn't, you could tell they've done breaks, but they do it very, very well. So it's filmed to look like a continuous shot for 30 minutes of heart-pounding action. And when I say heart-pounding action, I'm talking about John Wick action. That kind of fight choreography. Unbelievable. And Hemsworth pulls it off amazingly. He's got a different kind of tortured soul than John Wick. You know, John Wick's lost his wife and they killed his dog, for God's sakes. But this guy, I really enjoy Chris Hemsworth just as a regular actor, not just as an action guy. But he's this gorgeous, muscly dude, so he's perfect for this kind of role. The young kid in it, here, let me butcher his name one more time for you. I'll just call him Rudd for right now. Rudd is so good in this. When he starts talking about his father and that he's just an object to this mercenary, just like he is to his father. And he gets emotional as he's talking about it. And I mean, they're running through India, the poor areas of India, which is most of India. At one point, they're even in a sewer. A sewer in India. I can't even, good Lord. Right? I mean, you can almost smell it just by the description. Just gnarly. But the bond that takes place, that you know is coming, between Chris Hemsworth and this kid, is really touching and very believable. The end of the movie is wonderful. If you stay to the last few seconds, it's a heavy movie, but it's a great action flick. And if you're looking to spend some time during this pandemic, not just watching, and it's not that I dislike the show, I thought it was kicking the pants, Tiger King. If you want some actual cinematic entertainment, this is the movie for you. I give this 2 just regular thumbs way up. This is just a great flick. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing this show. That's it for this edition of Reverend Hagen's Horrific Cinematic Dissection. As always, I'm Reverend Hagen. As always, thank you, my listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's Scream. Radio.com for all your horror and paranormal needs. My brothers and sisters, you keep those heads up. And as always, I hope you have a terrifyingly terrific day. Stay tough during this pandemic. And 6 feet.